that 1% person who is going to experience the ultimate success is going to be the one that not only accepts hard things, but embraces it and cherishes it and understands that the process of doing the hard things is where the sweet spot is. And they almost approach it as if they're maniacal about hard things. I want to embrace doing the hard thing so that once I get that checklist off doing that hard thing, I'm going to find the next hardest thing to do, and so on and so on and so on. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I am your host, Dr. Young Win, affectionately called the Ninja or Prolific Ninja by my family and friends. And because my fans are my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Back in the studio after Hurricane Beryl barreled through Houston. Literally at a catastrophe war zone, trees uplifted everywhere, lights out, power out. We just got power in my house. The building, my office just got power. Obviously, the studio is without power. Problem is we have no AC in my building, so it's hot as hell in here. But it's been a hard ordeal for the city, for myself. My mom experiencing some health issues, was admitted to the hospital, got discharged right before the hurricane. In recovery at our house, and then they're without power, so I've got to move into my house. It's just been an ordeal. So in any case, as consistent as we are, we decided to not skip the week, and we've had a 2.5 year run, so we're going consistently week by week. Could have been easy to check it in and say, man, this is just too hard. But what do? We made it happen in spirit recording to bring you content on the End-to-End Podcast. But before we get to the episode, I want to give an expression of gratitude. Gratitude for having gotten through the ordeal of Hurricane Beryl. But at the same time, if you're new to the show, if you've been listening for a while, you know that when I wake up, when my eyes open up, before I get out of bed, I give thanks to God, the universe, for another day, another opportunity to be great and share my gifts that I've been bestowed with in order to help other people, hopefully inspire people to live in the fullest control of potential. With that, I want to thank you, my fans, for liking, commenting, following, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell, getting alerts for when we drop new content. Thank you all, because this show would not be where it's at were it not for you sharing the show. If you're new to the show, though, because we have no sponsors other than myself, a law firm, and the companies that I work with, I do the show on my own dime, on my own time. So with that, we can only grow the show if you like, comment, follow, share the show. So we do this on a value exchange. If you learned something new, if your life got 0.00001% better, or if you think somebody could find value in the show, please do share the show. I like to say, if you're not soul, share the show. That's how we grow. To this episode, I want to get this done kind of quick because it's hot as hell, but it's about heart. It's hard being here right now. I'm under studio lights, no AC. The sun is beaming through my office conference window. It's hard. The last couple of weeks have been exceptionally hard, and it's got me thinking as it relates to how do people approach doing hard things. If you've been listening to the show or been following for a while, you know that it is a rule written in stone that we must do hard things in order to be successful. You must go through hard things in order to be successful. Failure, rejection, doubt, self-doubt, lack of funding, lack of resources, lack of opportunity, lack of contacts, lack of networks. All these things you gotta break through in order to be successful. And so when you think of it in those terms, I think of it as what 3 ways do people approach hard? The first way, which is what we want to avoid, is avoidance. 90% of people avoid doing hard things. They avoid doing hard things in order to succeed. There's a lot of reasons why. It's mainly based in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear about getting out of your comfort zone, fear of having to challenge yourself in defining who you are, fear of looking at yourself in the mirror and asking yourself the question, do you have what it takes? Fear of asking for resources if you don't have any. A lot of people avoid doing hard things to be successful simply based out of fear. And so what happens to those people is they get stuck. They get stuck in that hamster wheel running and running and running and running only to not go anywhere. And they end up 30, 50, 60 years down the road looking back saying, and I did nothing with my life because I avoided doing the hard things. If you avoid doing hard things, you're never going to go anywhere or be successful. So you would qualify these people as unsuccessful because they are simply avoiding the fact that you have to do hard things to succeed. Look at all the overweight people in the world, out of shape people. They're avoiding doing a 30-minute workout a day that can dramatically change their lives. But yet, most people avoid that. Why? So you see, by simply approaching doing hard things, you will understand that you are better than 90% of the people out there. So that brings me to the second category. People that accept doing the hard things in order to succeed. They accept it. And so 90% of people avoid it. So you have 10% left. 9 out of those 10 will accept doing the hard things. In other words, they understand that you must sweat, you must bleed, you must shed tears, you must face failure, you must face your fear of rejection, your fear of asking yourself the hard questions, the fear of trying to understand who you are or whether you're built for this or whether you can overcome these challenges or you have what it takes. 9 out of 10 of the remaining 10% accept that you must do these things. But when they accept it, they do it just to get it off the checklist. So they're going to do the hard things, but they're only doing it for the sake of doing it.
So it's like going to the gym and seeing the same person work out over and over and over again, yet they make no improvements. They look the same because they're only going through the motions, right? They're only doing it because they've been told this is what you're supposed to do, but they don't have the right intent or intensity or urgency about having to do the hard things. And so with that, you're going to get some things done, right? If you accept that hard things are required, but you're only going to get to the level of which you focus your intensity and your urgency. Okay? And so you may have this dream of making $10 million, but if you only accept that you must do hard things, you might only make 5. Which is great. At least you're better off than the 90% of people that avoid doing hard things anyways. But that brings me to the last 1%. The one person that is really going to hit that home run. Okay? That person you would say is almost crazy. You ever look at somebody who just does wild things that is really successful and everybody looks at him and says, man, that guy's crazy. Crazy in his own way, because that 1% person who is going to experience the ultimate success is going to be the one that not only accepts hard things, but embraces it and cherishes it and understands that the process of doing the hard things is where the sweet spot is. And they almost approach it as if they're maniacal about hard things, right? The 9% that accepts hard things, they only do the hard things to get it off the checklist. The 1% that's crazy about embracing hard things is they want to do the hard things so they can level up to the next harder thing and go crazy on that. And I'll give you the prime example of myself. When I tell people that I'm a doctor and a lawyer, most people say, man, that's crazy. I could never do that. And that is the very reason why I actually did it. Because I went crazy about it. I was like, dude, I'm going to do something that very few people can do. And just embraced it and went crazy with it. Same thing with my law firm. Same thing with same thing with everything. It's like, I can't believe you can do something like that. Well, yeah, that's why I'm doing it, because you can't believe you can do it. I want to embrace doing the hard thing so that once I get that checklist off doing that hard thing, I'm going to find the next hardest thing to do. And so on and so on and so on. It's like I forget which athlete, or Tom Brady, is like, which championship is your favorite, is your best? His answer was the next one. Right? You accomplish what you set out to accomplish, and then you go out and get to the next accomplishment. And that, my friends, is where the sweetness is. That 1% of people that gets to the highest level of success are the ones that embrace, accept, cherish, love, go crazy on the process of doing hard things. Because once you finish the hard thing, you go out and look for the next hardest thing. And you level up, and you level up, and you level up, and you level up. So, as the city recovers from Hurricane Beryl, and we're all going through hard things, resetting ourselves once things normalize, we have half the year left in 2024 to make an impact on our goals, our success, inspiring others, doing what we set out to do. Listen, don't be the 90% that avoids hard things. Don't be the 9% that just accepts hard things. Try to be the 1% that embraces the hard things, loves the process of doing the hard things, and finding the next hardest thing to do. Listen, it is hot as hell. That's this podcast. I'll probably elaborate more on the subject. This podcast itself was hard as hell. Thanks to my guys out here. Technical difficulties, cameras overheating. They're in here suffering with me in this heat and humidity post-hurricane, so I'm grateful for them. But I'm going to close the show as I close my day. When my head hits a pillow, before I close my eyes, turn my phone off, I give thanks to God and the universe for another day to have been great and have hopefully inspired somebody else to live to their fullest controllable potential. Last comment, selfless plug. If you have cancer or know anybody with cancer, check out pfasinjuryattorney.com, pfasinjuryattorney.com. We're doing a campaign on raising cancer awareness around water contamination with carcinogens. So go to that website, learn more about cancer-causing agents in your waterways and how we, my law firm, westlooplaw.com, can help you. In any case, I'm grateful for you. Be great today, but be even more grateful. Looking forward to bringing you another episode very, very, very soon.